And while we are on the topic of university, we know that disabled people are underrepresented in higher education. And governments have received report after report that action is needed to make our universities more inclusive. We need to change the system. We need to build a system that focuses on the whole of the student, where we support people in their learning and also in finding affordable student housing, assistance with finding employment and adequate income support, as opposed to simply enrolling disabled students into a course and hoping they succeed. I've heard from disabled people across the country about the immense barriers they face in accessing university education. These aren't isolated incidents. They reflect systemic failures by both institutions and by governments. And these failures have real and often devastating consequences for our community. Here are just some of the experiences that have been shared with me. A deaf student requires captioning to support their learning. The university's solution? Inaccurate, AI-generated captions riddled with errors, or in some cases, no captions at all. Others were told at the time of applying to university that Auslan interpretation would be provided, only to find that those supports never materialised. Some students who require note-taking didn't receive that support until weeks into the semester, putting them at an immediate and unfair disadvantage. Wheelchair users have been unable to access classrooms because ramps have been blocked off for construction or lifts were out of order. In one case, a student was forced to take a 40-minute detour across campus just to get to class. Neurodivergent students are constantly having to advocate for themselves against staff who are poorly trained and unwilling to implement approved access plans. This is not just a failure of policy, it is discrimination. There must be a change in this system. There must be inclusion. I know that many in our community are pleased to have some relief through the government's HECS changes. But we have a lot of work to do to make universities inclusive, accessible and affordable.
Authorised by Steele-John, Australian Greens Camp.